Hello everybody, I'm Kung Fu Matt. I'm going to be doing a spoiler roundup of the cards spoiled so far. I do not have a new spoiler, but here's all the spoilers that have been thrown around in the past week, just so you can have them all in one place. Uh, we got Forge Guardian Delta started off. For everyone, I know that everybody's just sitting here waiting for a Robot Guardian piece to add to the group that's already there. Um, Giving him Soulbind and adding even more pieces to your deck makes him very interesting. He adds a lot of cards, so your deck at player level 1 should be mostly Guardian pieces. Whether or not you get that Omega, who knows? But he himself, if you have a combination of one of each of the original pieces, and then put this guy out, he gives you a Forge Guardian Omega in your deck. So that'll create some interesting things. In a way, it's kind of like a combo deck that you'll be able to make. So I don't know. We'll see how it works. I think it'll make for some fun games, but I don't think it'll happen often enough to make the game really good. Also, Forge Guardian Omega. They added consistency to him. So with that other card, you've got the ability to put him straight into your deck and draw him at player level 2. Now you will draw him at 2, 3, and 4. And if you get to 4 with a level 3 Forge Guardian Omega, your opponent must be pretty good or lucky because he survived a 2020 with 1,000 powers and a 40/40. I would hope that as soon as he sees you put the Omega into the deck, he would hope to, he would start making sure he pays attention to where his Dreadbolts are, because that's one of the only cards that kills this guy, just straight out. Moving on, we have Iztek, Khan of Araktor. A friend of mine started naming this Wrath of Khan, so we'll take a look at Wrath of Khan here. He also has Soulbind. He comes with 2 spells. One being, we'll look at him in a minute, but one being basically a better Spark and a better Frozen Solid. See, we got he has 2 abilities. So basically, when he's got the Soulbind with the cards, and when you play a card, either one, Frost or Flame, he turns into a different version of himself. His stats are very similar to Master of Elements at 1 and 2, a little smaller at 3, but usually you're going to be playing one of his spells along with him, turning him into a little bit stronger creature. So take a look at the first one's the Fire. If you play his Fire spell, he becomes a 7/5 aggressive that deals double damage if he hits the player. That is fairly strong. I like turn 2 playing Iztek and then sparking something and then flipping him over to 7 and dealing 14 straight out. It seems good. So he's a 7/5, 12, 19, 20, 15. 20. This does 40 damage if you can. So that seems crazy. If you use the other spell, which we'll look at next, he turns into a weaker version, more health. Still aggressive, so you can still get that damage in right away. And the crazy upside to him is his Frost spell is actually a Frozen Solid. It's an soft level gated Frozen Solid, so you can still activate him and kill any creature. The damage does go up, so you don't have to use it for that. Maybe you've got a Static Shock or something you'd rather use to finish off the creature and then deal 2, 5, 10 damage to something else. Or if you're playing Invoker, he seems pretty awesome because you get to Invoker, play his Frozen Solid, kill whatever creature you targeted, and then still deal his damage and attack in. So there's going to be some craziness going on with this card. The downside, obviously, is throwing a bunch of extra spells in your deck, so your consistency goes down. Here's the Flame. Just a straight-up better version of Spark. It's 6, 9, 15 instead of 5, 8, 12. So just straight-up more damage. So if you're going to be getting extra of these in your deck, that's not too bad. I love that it does 6 and kills Gox and Drix and Tarsus, Now we finally have a card that just straight up kills him, although you have to play, a specific card with it. Here's the Frost, basically frozen solid, soft level gated at 1 and 2, at 1, and then free at 3. So that seems pretty awesome. We've got a Brood Queen. She comes into play with a Brood Fang, and then she is a Scourge Flame. No, she's not. Wait, let me see. Yeah, Scourge Flame Sorcerer. So, but she brings her own creature. That's the cool part. So that's this card's going to be interesting. I think it'll fit in some decks. The fact that she brings her own creature along with her kind of negates the card disadvantage you would get from something like Scourge Flame Sorcerer. Next one, we've got Ortec Battlebrand. Deal 6 damage to target creature. You can discard a card and level it, so allied Aloyan. So this is going to be fun. Now, I guess it seems like they're pushing some of that Aloyan Tempe's kind of control, where you just try to play Dragon at 3, and until then you just kind of, beat stuff up. We got another 6 damage, so we're looking at King Kill Tarsus, King Kill Drix, King Kill Gox. That's pretty awesome. Sadly, this one's creature only, but being able to discard a card and level it on top of that seems good. Level 2 is 9. It's a little lower than most creatures. 6 is actually bigger than most creatures, so it's going to kill most things at 1. It's going to damage and almost kill most things at 2. 3, it's going to just damage them. It's not awesome at 3, and leveling isn't awesome at 3 either. So usually, I think the level 1 is where is the best part of this spell. Next we got Seal of Tarsus. Basically, it's a set of consistent spells. There's a seal of each type. This one being really bad at level 1, but then giving you that consistency to know you'll get it back at 2, and it'll be really good. -8, -8 is basically turns any level 2 into just a useless pile. And 3, 16, 16 should kill most, if not basically ruin anything that it hits. And being guaranteed to see it is also really nice. We got Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden's spoiler. It's been around probably the longest. I think it's one of the first ones they did. It's pretty simple on him. He's basically a consistent Krogius. He's going to be terrible at 1, terrible at 2, but amazing at 3. Now his 3, he doesn't really. He's got breakthrough. He doesn't really die easily. If you decide to block him and deal some damage, you're going to be taking almost a full damage anyways, and then you'll take extra from the damage you deal him. So he's pretty nuts. But having 2 terrible cards, we've shown that Krogius is competitive only when you can make use of his first 2 levels. I don't see this guy. I don't see making a lot of use of this guy's first 2 levels. So maybe unless it's that Aloyan leveling deck, or some kind of leveling deck, we're just not sure. I'm not sure, how powerful, how important in the metagame this will be, but it's definitely going to be fun. Got Nephirax. He destroys your own creature when he comes out. Obviously that's a bad thing. So right away you're like, okay, wow. 4/10 is pretty large. But his activate is put a 5/5 spirit into one of your lanes. You've got the 1/1 spirit that turns into a 5/5. If you destroy that, you're going to get a 5/5 and maybe another 5/5, and this is all, turn 2, turn 3. Crazy things could be going on with this card. It's the same as most of the spirits, 5, 10, 15. It should work with Yuri at 1, so you destroy your own creature with Yuri out, make a spirit, make another spirit. It's going to make for some crazy interactions. Downside is obviously an activate with negative value until the activation. So I will have to wait and see on this one. I'm very skeptical, although his body is not bad. Here's another seal. We got just absolutely horrible at 1, but +9 +9 at 2. and plus 18 at 3. This one I see being a draft-only card. I don't really see this one being played as much, but if you can get that value on 1 in draft, and then you've got plus 9 and plus 18, sometimes you can just run away with the game with that alone. Ooh, so we got an egg. Frostmane egg goes with Frostmane dragon. Basically, we'll show you the dragon in a second, but the egg says when you gain a rank, replace the egg with a level 1 Frostmane. The egg is not its own card, it's the ability of the dragon. And here's the dragon. Start of your turn, if he entered the turn from your hand on your previous turn, you may put a level 1 egg into one of your spaces. So basically, if you play him on point 3, point 4 you're getting an egg, and then it's popping into one of these. If you play him on point 2, point 3 you're getting the egg, you wait another turn, and then it pops. A lot of times it'll still survive. It's not overpowered or anything, but it's consistently, it's going to be strong. And his body is powerful. 6 is good, 5-6 means no Dreadbolt, 5-6 means no Cull. Some of the Tempe spells can take him now, but not necessarily at all levels. 9-11, it's obviously a very strong power toughness, and 16-19 is very good. And he's got mobility 2 at all levels. So you've got this card is not insane, but it is very strong. I believe this is a strong card, and I don't think it's kind of interesting because I don't think there's a lot of these kind of cards where it's not overpowered, it's not, just a body. It's actually just overall a good card. So I don't know what deck it slots into, but we'll have to we'll definitely find a place for it. Torg, my guardian. This guy has our first banish ability, banishing a plant from the discard pile. Pumping him up to a 7-7 at 1, 12-12 at 5, and a 19-19 at 3. So obviously big at all levels. He is a plant, so if you decide you don't have to banish if you don't want to, and then you can turn him, use Nuada to make him big that way. There's lots of ways to do it. Banishing can be good, it can be bad, depending on how early in the player level you get him. You get him immediately, and you're looking at no plants, and he's a 4-4, and he's bad. But even under-leveled, 7-7 and 11 is pretty good. So, and there's also the ability to take out, all those lower cards you don't want to play, or you don't want to see in your deck later. And the consistency you get from thinning your deck. Aetherphage, probably one of the coolest cards spoiled so far. Being able to look in the opponent's hand and reveal spells is fantastic. I'm pretty excited to see how this one ends up working out. Spells are already a little weak, so I hope that this doesn't break spells. Obviously, any spell that's good underleveled will still be okay because you don't have to worry about it, him pulling it from your hand because you don't care. But what you do have to watch for is if they are leveling this, be careful on leveling spells. Because if you hit that, I leveled my spell, and then you took it out, you're going to get behind. Obviously, they're going to get a 2. In a way, they get a 2-for-1, but in the way they don't. You still get to play 2 cards, they get to steal a 3 or a 2 out of your deck if they level it along with your spells. What you get by playing it, you get the ability to have an idea of what your opponent's playing immediately in the game. You can kind of set up your turn based on what you see. Obviously, if you know the opponent has no spells, you can just play to the board. You don't have to play to what you think your opponent might have. So that's always fun. That'll add an advantage as well. Disian Siphon. We've got target creature an opponent controls gets -3/-3. Ally Utera pump. So it's basically a super. This is the first Allied Utera card for Necreum, which is kind of cool. Also, this is like a super Hungering Strike, where you get to choose 2 different targets, and shrink and pump. This card's going to be very strong in that, Utera, Necreum, good stuff deck where you've just got good cards. This seems to be a removal spell and a pump. Takes up 1 spot. That's very awesome. You have to be, I guess, base Utera, but I think most of those decks are anyways. so that seems okay. Frostfang Maiden, 4/5 mobility 1. When a creature you control moves into a lane, the creature deals 3 damage to another creature in that lane. So you've got mobility. You know, she basically got her own little version of the mobility card that deals damage on it, and then she also gives it to all your mobility cards. So I don't know. It seems interesting. I'm not sure how powerful this is going to be. It may be crazy good. Stormbringer and this card together, like just too much damage bouncing around. He might just kill things without even having to hit them. It's gonna be interesting. We'll just have to see how it ends up. I'm not sure. This is another card I would definitely need to play with. Mobility decks have been around for a long time, but they aren't necessarily a tier 1 deck. So we'll see if this helps push it to the end. Or Tech Explosives. Target creature you control gets +5. This turn, when that creature deals battle damage to a player, it deals that much damage to target creature that player controls. So you give him 5 attack, and you get to usually, say it's a 5 already, you get to deal 10 damage to a creature at 1. That's pretty awesome. At 2, you get +5 attack to it, and then you get to deal damage to 2 creatures. And 3, you get to deal damage to all their creatures. So if you already put it on something pretty big that's getting through, that extra 5 doesn't even matter at this point. It's just blast through all your creatures. That's going to be kind of interesting. Next, we've got Tangle. Tangle's very awesome. Tangle's under-leveled hose card for mobility. It's not going to, just destroy mobility decks, but it's going to give Utera a kind of answer. When you've got gargoyles bouncing around, oh, look, it's over here, it's over here. Guess what you do with Utera? You just sit there and you do nothing. This card's a lot better than the Archer. Just straight up kills it. It's soft level gated. 3, you get the bonus health equal to the attack. This card is going to be at least a 1-of in most Utera decks, at the very least. Grimgaunt Doomrider. We're always looking for more Grimgaunts. They're a very powerful line of creatures. This one's more interesting than the others. He moves around. So right there you've got, NT mobility or something going on. When a creature you control is destroyed, Grimgaunt Doomrider gets +1/+1, so he's got the +1/+1 from the Grimgaunt ability. And he moves into that space and then shrinks whatever's in front of him. So when your creature dies, he's going to pop into that spot like, hey, you have a weaker creature. Also shrink smaller. And I'm going to get bigger. At 1, it's not huge, but at 2 and 3, it starts to get a lot bigger. Because you're looking at, a 9/13 if one thing dies, and you're looking at shrinking something. He's going to win that battle for sure. If you've got Epidemic or anything in your deck, you can shrink them down a little more, and then he'll just be free to do whatever. If you're lucky enough to kill a second thing, or after combat, basically, he's pretty big size, and a lot of times he's going to win his combat. So 3 is obviously a +3/+3 and -3. The -3 seems, his minus ability seems small. But I'm sure there'll be situations where he moves into your creature dies, he moves into the lane, and he kills the creature that killed him. It gives you kind of that ability to think the combat math out a little more, where you're looking at, okay, so I'm going to deal 5 to him, it's a 7 power, this will be perfect, because Doomrider will jump in and just kill it, and get bigger, so it's kind of cool. Also, there are not many cards that get buffed up when creatures you control die. So now you're looking at Phytobomb, making this guy a monster. Seal of Kadras. Deal 1 damage to target creature or player. It's got, 1 damage is obviously nothing. It's got consistent at 2. Obviously still nothing. But at 3, wow. 25 damage. And it's consistent, so you're going to get it. I don't think this card will be played much, but it's definitely something to think about. If you can somehow play all 4 of these and survive through, or play 3 of these and deal a little bit of damage and survive through the player levels, you basically have 75 damage at player level 3 that you're guaranteed to get. Or you can kill a creature, but it seems like 25 damage is just built for that. Next we got Cinderbound Barbarian. When Cinderbound Barbarian enters the field, if you are rank 2 or higher, it deals 6 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Basically, underleveled card. Play him at 2, blast a creature away. This is like a different version of underleveled. Instead of going, I'm just going to play a creature that's bigger underleveled, this one actually can finish things off that are low life underleveled, which sounds really awesome. You know, when you've got those Goxes smashing into each other, and then yours loses because his had the Drix pumping it up, and you just go, look at me, your guy's dead. You know, or whatever. You got all these little, you know, situations where you've got a small health creature lying around. This will just come out and kill it. He is a 12/12 at 3 that deals 12. The problem is for him to deal 12, it's gonna have to be rank 4. So you never level this up on level, so his ability should always be okay. If for some reason you had to level this on level, then you'd have to skip at the next player level, and it seems just like a bad situation. So I just don't. You don't ever want to level this on level, but under leveled he seems really good. Ortec Warhammer, we've got Allied Aloyan Mobility 3/8. So that's, first of all, that's kind of an interesting. You got a 3/8 with mobility. His ability is when he deals battle damage to a player on your turn, you can discard a card and level it. So now you're looking at another leveling card. This guy can do it multiple times if you kind of burn away whoever's in front. So you put him in the middle, you say go, they put 2 creatures out, you move into the open lane, you hit and you level. Then you play your 2 cards. Then they block him and don't kill him because, you know, he's an 8. And then you can burn something out in the way or move him again and level another card. If you're going to get 2 cards out of this guy, that's going to be insane. That's extreme value. Also being able to deal damage. 2, he's got mobility 2, so you're almost guaranteed 1 card leveled with him. And he's still pretty big. Like, he's going to trade with a lot of stuff. You know, his power isn't there, but if he survives the first hit toughness-wise, then he's going to trade with a lot of things. And 12/19, mobility 3. Not amazing, but still leveling cards in case you go to player level 4. Seal of Anvilon. Target creature gets 3 attack, consistent 10, consistent 20. I see this one more as a draft card. Giving 20 attack is good, but I just don't see it being better than Warmonger mod most of the time. The last card I got for you is not actually a card, it's just artwork for a card. This one's going to be spoiled soon. But we've got 4 pictures and a bear. So I don't know if we're looking at Forgeborn, I don't know if we're looking at some kind of card that turns into something else, but we've got something crazy going on here. So that'll end my set 3 roundup. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you later.